Hi, everybody. So I'm sending this announcement out to you today because, as far as government goes, we're in some pretty interesting times now. One person wrote to me asking my thoughts about the recent news that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced that the House will proceed with a formal impeachment inquiry. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about what that means. And I'm also going to place some links to some articles, news articles, from the most neutral sources I can find. Okay, so they really just give the facts about what's going on. Okay, so what does this mean now? So, first of all, and I guess this is interesting because this situation will illustrate to us this idea of the separation of powers, and that is between the branches of government. And so that is something, it's written into the Constitution that the legislature, okay, Congress, meaning the House and the Senate, have the power to impeach the president. Okay, but it is not an easy process, and I think it's one that, according to the news that I've read, Speaker with, because it's not something to be done lightly. The last time this happened, well, a president was actually impeached, which is not what's happened yet, if at all. Okay, was in the 90s, and that was with President Bill Clinton. He was actually impeached, but he was found to be not guilty. He was acquitted. Okay, so let me explain how that works. So what happens is, what's happening right now is it's just an inquiry. So what that means is, I believe the House Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives will do an investigation. Okay, so what they're doing is they're going to be investigating what happened on this phone call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. And so the allegation is that President Trump made an inappropriate request of the president of Ukraine to investigate the son of former Vice President Joe Biden, who, as we know, is running for president on the Democratic for the Democratic nomination. He's one of 20 candidates that are running. And so that's the allegation against President Trump. So nothing has been proven. Okay, so the House Judiciary Committee and other investigative committees in the House will have to look into this, and they have to get evidence. Okay, you cannot make an accusation without actual evidence. So that's the investigation. They have to look and see if there's anything there. If there is evidence that supports those allegations. So if they do find that there is evidence, then they may move to pass, excuse me, what's called articles of impeachment. Okay, and so this is where the House actually says that, and they vote on it, that we find sufficient evidence to impeach the president. Okay, so the House of Representatives impeaches the president by this vote. Okay, and it's a long process. Okay, this will not, although they're saying Speaker Pelosi wants the whole thing to happen quickly. If it gets to that point, I mean, the investigation could find that there is not sufficient evidence, and they might just drop it. So we don't know at this point what's going to happen. But if they do find evidence, and they want to proceed with the articles of impeachment, then they vote on that, and I'm sure there'll be long debates. And if they vote yes to impeach the president, then it goes to the Senate. Okay, and in the Senate, a trial is held. And so the Senate becomes essentially a jury, okay? And the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presides over the trial, and there are witnesses, and it's just like a trial. And so then the Senate decides whether to acquit the president, or to which means he's found not guilty, or to find the president guilty. Okay, so in that case, the president would be removed. That has never happened in U.S. history. Okay, and only, let's see, Andrew Johnson um, was went through impeachment way back during Reconstruction after the Civil War. Um, let's see, Bill Clinton also, he was impeached, but he was acquitted by the Senate. And then Richard Nixon almost was impeached, but he resigned before he could be impeached. All right, so this is a process that's not to be taken lightly. And at this point, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, we don't know if there is going to be evidence that's found, and if the House will proceed towards actual impeachment, voting for impeachment of the president. Okay, so that's kind of in a nutshell what's going on. I will post links to news stories that I think would be helpful for us. And I really encourage you to watch the news on this and see what happens, okay? Um, and take yourself out of, if you have strong political opinions, try to take yourself out of that and look at this objectively, okay? And that's how I think we can be the best citizens. All right. All right. So I hope you're having a good week, and I'll see you again soon. And feel free to send me any questions that you might have. All right. Bye.